they are not physical walls. They're just guidelines that let people know how to treat you.
Yeah, I mean physical wall tu tak ramai yang buat. Trump je yang nak buat physical wall.
Tarif.
Betul.
Dengar kan? So, ya. Teruskan. I just want to say that, that's all.
Hello, Assalamualaikum and welcome everyone. You're currently listening to us podcast
Maaf Cakap.
Podcast Maaf Cakap, podcast sembang santai, kadang deep, kadang kelakar, tapi always
Real talk.
Saya Alin.
Di sini Q Raira.
Dan saya Falik Effendi.
Dan pada minggu ini kita punya ahli keempat. Seperti biasalah. Dia kan dekat mana? Vienna.
Dekat Vienna. Sebab Vienna
lagi.
lama.
Ya betul. Dia ada
bulan
tour
dengan
kan, international like that. So kita ada ahli
nujum.
Ahli nujum.
Yang ke-6.
Yang ke-6
Tujuh,
kita
lapan,
7, 8, 9, 10 lah. Iaitu
Perkenalkan suamimu Azim.
Hello. Saya kembali.
Kenal kita yang bergaya. Dia hello.
kan kita yang excited lebih.
Kita yang
Tapi nak kira
kenalkan.
orang mana? Kenapa I ke-8?
Sebab
Saja
kita,
je
kadang-kadang
dia
kita ada
orang-orang lain.
I tengah
Syira, Syarin.
Ada Syira, ada Syarin, ada kadang-kadang ada Atika.
Atika.
I takut korang nampak orang I tak nampak.
Ayo,
ya
jangan
juga.
tipu.
Takkan kita nak beritahu kan.
Mas
Dia tutup sikit I punya hijab.
gitu. Okay.
Hi
So
Azim. Thank you for
Hi.
coming.
thank you so much for joining us. We would like to thank, as usual, Simply Sandwiches
Sandwiches
TTI for hosting us here yet again for another episode.
Sampai bila-bila.
Ya, so
Sampai
kalau
sampai mampus
korang nak makan sandwich sedap, korang nak dengar motor lalu, korang nak minum kopi yang best, korang nak
Mantap,
tempat yang
fresh brew.
estetik, silalah ke Simply Sandwiches, and you can follow us on our Instagram Simply Sandwiches, and you can also order for your event, meeting, catering, apa-apa semua kita orang buat lah.
Korang boleh delivery kan?
Yes, kita buat delivery. Korang nak datang sini tengok kita orang buat podcast, mana tahu boleh.
Sambil-sambil makan.
Boleh.
Yes,
Why
kalau
not?
nak tengok kita orang boleh DM kita dekat mana?
Tak payah DM dah.
Korang boleh dapatkan segala maklumat berkenaan dengan podcast Maaf Cakap di www.maafcakap.com. Di situ link-link ke episod yang lalu ada, link-link ke social media kami ada, page untuk Maaf Nak Cakap Kerja pun ada, semua ada kat situ. So pergi ke www.maafcakap.com.
Thank you korang
Dan
for supporting us
Betul.
all this while sampai ke hari ini. Ya Khalid?
Dan alang-alang tu while you're listening, jangan lupa untuk subscribe kita kalau belum subscribe lagi, ataupun follow. Jangan lupa juga untuk rate kita di Spotify.
Dan ingat untuk share.
Dan share, bagi komen. We would really love to hear it from you.
Panjang-panjang
Yes,
kita orang ni.
please.
Yeah. Okay. Kita dah buat introduction segala
Betul.
bagai. Macam biasa di awal episod kita ada seminit nak cakap.
Alright, kita
Dan
akan
kita mula
mulakan
dengan Alin.
Lah, dia baling macam tu saja.
Biasa dia bagi kat orang. So kita bagi kat dia.
Ambil kau.
Kejap Tadi
Mula
aku nak
daripada
cakap
sekarang.
siapa? Too much. Okay.
Tekan,
Sila. Aku mula
Dari
kan
sekarang.
sekarang. Okay, so basically I want to talk about one of my, I would say my passion, kegemaran,
Passion.
kesukaan,
Passion ke fashion?
passion.
Sorry, kena sampuk sebab tak dengar.
Kesukaan. Saya suka piercing. Okay. Saya suka piercing. Tengok dia dah gelak sebab dia tahu aku nak cakap pasal apa. Dia dah mula dah, suara sudah naik, sister. So that day, okay. If you guys know me since dulu, I have a lot of piercings. I've pierced quite a lot of places lah on my face and whatnot. So one of the places yang I've been wanting to re-pierce is my nose. Okay, so for the longest time I've always wanted it, but of course my mom tak bagi, so that's also one of the reasons why I tak buat. So that day I had this conversation, I'm like, okay lah, I want. So ni husband I, dah nak ujung dah, husband I tak bagi batu. Hari tu aku mengentan, aku cakap, aku dah dekat 40 tahun, takkan tak boleh nak pierce hidung.
Dia lupa agaknya. Ini bukan dah start podcastnya. Ini baru seminit. Dia baru introduction dia. Aku dah nampak dah dekat timer tu. Lagi pasangan. Ini betul ke? Masalah dia. Sebab tu niat tu tak betul. Jangan engkar
Marah. Sebab macam tiba-tiba kita fikir kan, aku tahu aku nak mengentan pasal apa. Aku geram. Ayat yang ujung tu.
So it's literally a minute lah.
Yes,
Yes,
it is
and
a
we won't
minute.
Just a
interrupt
minute.
anyone.
By
That's
right,
why.
cannot interrupt.
Tapi
By
sebab
right.
dia tak dengar kan? Apa
Oh,
dia cakap?
okay.
Fashion ke
If you're
fashion?
up for it, you can do after this. Okay, Q, teruskan.
Okay, Q Raira. 1 minit mula dari sekarang.
I nak sembang sebab kalau ada 1 minit I nak sembang pasal membuang masa. I sarankan kenapa? Maaf, Khalid kadang-kadang memang terkejut benda macam ni. I memang unexpected. So dia memang sedang terkejut. Pasal membuang masa. Kadang-kadang kita ni terlebih cakap sampai terlebih masa. Kenapa kita lupa kawan-kawan kita pun ada seminit yang lain. Jangan ambil seminit kawan-kawan untuk dijadikan sebagai seminit kamu.
Kau nak menganjing aku.
Dia masuk. Dia tak boleh sampuk. Okey. Dan dalam seminit nak cakap ini, yang berbaki berapa minit saat lagi, I nak sarankanlah kalau boleh untuk diambil kira, jangan buang masa, especially dalam hidup ni. Hidup yang macam cakap dalam episod lepas, kita dah masuk ke peringkat umur yang subsidi tau. Bila kita rasa macam it's okay nak buang masa, hatta 1 ataupun 2 hari sebenarnya membazir. You mungkin nampak tak membazir kat you, tapi nampak sebenarnya membazir kat orang yang menunggu. Renung-renungkan sama beramal. Tak buang masa kawan-kawan. Tepat, pantas.
Cepat.
Tu cara dia.
Dia punya hujung tu. Selamat beramal. Geram je aku dengar.
Jangan buang masa.
Okay,
Seminit
Falik,
daripada
seminit
sekarang.
daripada sekarang.
Balik, go.
Woi, dia seminit.
Member tak sempat telan kek pisang.
Okay. Diberi masa 1 minit ini, saya ingin ambil peluang ini untuk bercakap tentang keindahan dan keenakan kek pisang. Kek pisang ini adalah sejenis kek yang saya rasa sedikit underrated. Kerana ramai yang merasakan macam kek pisang ni sebagai kek leceh-lecehan. Disebabkan dijual di pasar raya dalam bungkusan-bungkusan yang biasa. Jadi orang menganggap macam kek pisang ini macam kau makan kek pisang je. Walhal kek pisang ini sangat kek yang sedap dan mudah untuk dimakan. Sebab apa? Sebab dia ada datang dalam pelbagai saiz dan bentuk. Dia ada yang panjang, dia ada yang pendek. Kalau anda duduk ramai-ramai dalam satu rumah dan rasa-rasa macam nak kongsi ramai-ramai, beli yang panjang. Macam saya suka makan kek pisang saya seorang-seorang, saya beli yang pendek. Sebab kalau beli yang panjang nanti berkapang. Jadi kek pisang ini adalah snack kegemaran saya kerana ianya sangat sedap, sangat manis dan juga ianya memberikan saya tenaga yang saya perlukan untuk menjalani kehidupan sehari-hari. Jadi makanlah kek pisang. Yes.
Tapi kek pisang balik pendek dan tebal.
Okay, sayang, would you like to try?
Ada tak bendanya?
Boleh.
Okay,
Try.
seminit anda. Cuk.
Dia nak berentang pasal bini dia nak buat piercing.
Sebenarnya dia akan melawan dia tonton. Bersediakah anda semua? Teruskan.
Okay,
Seminit.
your
Dari
1 minute starts now.
sekarang.
Actually tak, you put me on the spot. The only topic that I can think of yang boleh cakap under seminit is how I appreciate traffic during the early hours of the morning. When I was younger, I was not a morning person, and then nowadays I'm forced to be a morning person. Before this, with Raya, with bulan puasa, and I've had to work on a shift that's 9 to 5. I don't know how people do it day by day. Nowadays, I'm back onto a shift where I start very early, 6 o'clock I start. So by 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm out of the house. I can get from here to KL within 15 to 20 minutes. And I guess admire people who do the 9 to 5, 9 to 6 daily in and out. I really don't know how you do it. And yeah, all your time sitting inside the car when, the journey is just 15-20 minutes. That's all it takes. Itu je kot I nak cakap.
Cubaan pertama yang sangat baik dilakukan oleh Muhammad Azim.
On time?
On time.
Okay, on
Somehow
time.
and then you deliver the meaning of the objective of the words. Betul.
Tak ada objektif
tepat.
pun.
Itulah objektif dia. Sebenarnya tak lama mana pun.
Okay.
I swear to God, Melody nak cakap tahu. I would like to talk about I appreciate my wife.
Ya kan macam wah. Dah macam
Ali nak kembang-kembang. Sekali dia nak cakap pasal trafik.
Tak. Dia tak nak appreciate pasal bini dia. Itu dah umat belakang.
Nanti I balik appreciate bini seminit je.
Selamat nak game dia di situ.
Dia punya kona tu pandai. Azim pandai. Okay Azim, terima kasih. cubaan yang menarik
sama.
pada peringkat pertamanya. Sebab kita orang pun kelang kabut. Sebelum
Betul. Okay.
Relax.
So,
Okay.
saya ada soalan.
Soalan apakah itu?
So,
Puan Aziz Chazli.
untuk kaitkan dengan topik kita hari inilah.
Kami tak nak apa berkaitan.
Tak apa, kita
Apa
kaitkan kejap lagi.
Apakah?
So, we're gonna talk about an important topic.
Apakah?
I'm sure everyone struggles with it. Lah sempat. Everyone struggles with it. Okay, so how many times have you said
Semayang 5 minit.
it's fine when deep down it really wasn't fine?
Konteksnya apa ni?
Membaca pun fail
Aku tengah feel lah, sabarlah.
Gagak-gagak.
How many
Terasa
times
aku.
have you said it's fine when deep down it really wasn't?
Oh.
Whether it's a
Ini.
friend who drains your energy, a job that burns you out, or a family member who always crosses the line.
itu
How do you
konteksnya.
know when it's time to draw the line, and how do you actually do it?
Soalan-soalan macam ni kan Azim tak payah tengok telefon. Tu memang soalan yang nak
I
tanya.
tahu, sebab tu I kena tengok telefon.
Kita mungkin boleh mulakan dengan Azim. Mungkin boleh buka gelanggang ni dengan Azim lah.
Kita boleh
Okay,
jawab
okay lah. A bit nak bercakap pasal konteks ni lah. So basically we're
Okay,
talking
more
about
context.
setting the boundaries.
Setting boundaries.
Yes. So what are boundaries?
Okay.
What are boundaries?
Sempadan lah.
Let me just baca. I kan ni Munai. Okay.
Munai
Munai
of the
is Munah AI.
Oh, okay.
Tapi sebab
Alright.
Munai
Sebab
tak ada.
Munai tak ada, so I ambil alih
Okay, alright.
peranan
Okay,
Munai
I
itu.
get it, I get
So
it. Alai.
menurut ChatGPT,
Alai
Alright.
kata.
okay, what are boundaries? So boundaries are the limits we set to protect our mental, emotional, and physical well-beings. They are not physical walls, they're just guidelines that let people know how to treat you.
Ya, I mean physical wall tu tak ramai yang buat. Trump je yang nak buat physical wall. tu.
Tarif.
Betul.
Dengar kan? So, ya. Teruskan. I just want to say that, that's all.
Okay, so when you in this context lah, we're gonna discuss emotional feelings lah.
Yeah.
Your inner
Mostly
part lah.
towards
Boundaries
feelings,
to protect your
boundaries
feelings
To
and
protect feelings.
correct.
Okay.
feelings lah dengan mental.
Kalau ada fizikal pun tak apa.
You
You letak mata busuk, mata booster ke kat tengah-tengah.
No, because when the moment you said macam boundaries kan, the first thing that came to my mind was there was this exercise that we did at work.
Okay.
So you nak sentuh pasal work.
So
Okay.
at work, we actually sat down and discussed what are our boundaries
Okay.
at work. Because some people, even though everyone is friendly with each other, there's some things people are comfortable with, some things people are not comfortable with. So sometimes it's taken for granted, like certain boundaries. For example, if just because a person is like flamboyant or very very hyper, you may assume that they're okay with let's say small physical gestures.
Yeah.
Okay. They're okay with maybe not always. I mean, always being
cocky.
included
Not being
in
included.
something. For example, so macam sometimes where you have activities outside of work, for example, and because you see this person, you as outgoing as outspoken, for example, you automatically think, oh, they mesti nak join. Padahal they actually have their own boundaries where you know how some people are this is introvert extrovert kind of thing.
Yeah.
When they need to perform or when they need to work to do something, they are extrovert.
Yeah.
But for them to
Personally.
wind down or for
Yeah.
them to keep their mental health in check, they actually spend their free time doing introverted activities. So we did an exercise at work where we actually set and explain our boundaries, and I think it's actually a healthy exercise.
You guys did that kat office?
Yeah, we did
wow.
that. We
I
did
love
that.
to have
Actually,
it.
we can talk about ni
What
dari
is
segi
our boundaries?
dari segi office. Sebab I know you've mentioned before, you've set a boundary whereby your office mates are your office mates.
Correct.
Nothing more.
Betul.
They will not be your friends because because full
takkan
stop.
curhat, takkan apa. Yeah.
Because when you mentioned that, I teringat Q pernah bersembang pasal topik ini. I mean, adalah sedikit sebanyak cerita pasal benda ni whereby dia dah set boundary dia.
Tapi macam you kat office dibuat secara terang-terang.
Yeah,
Kan dan diberitahu kan.
Tapi we have
Bagus
different
lah.
context
International
there
company
lah.
macam tu loh.
So macam for example, what are your boundaries as to being contacted after work? Some
correct.
people are very strict.
Perkara
Correct.
ini dibincangkan.
Dibincangkan.
Office kat mana?
So for
You nak
example
apply ke?
macam
Boleh bagi resume apa ni?
Yeah, because if you see
Boundaries.
someone macam super hardworking and all that, you assume it's okay to contact them outside their working hours or on their off days, even if it's just to ask a question or even if it's to complete a small task or something like that. You think because at work they look like, you know, they're a go-getter, they're like a workaholic kan. Tapi actually, if you don't set your boundaries, people infringe them, and then slowly but surely it will wear you down lah mentally. And if these boundaries are not like defined clearly, people pun not necessarily they want to take advantage of you, tapi tak sengaja.
Because
Lepas
they don't know.
They don't know.
They
Yes,
don't know.
They don't know.
Betul.
So this kind of practice dekat satu-satu organisasi sebenarnya sihat lah.
Yeah, it
Sebab
is.
dia dimaklumkan.
It is
Seorang
hard,
tahu.
but to be honest, I don't know how it is in your place, but I guess a lot of us do not really know what our boundaries are.
Okay.
Macam okay lah, after working hour tu, okay, that's very clear. But other than that, kan, and also a lot of us feel macam, macam boundaries
Okay,
aku.
to be fair, I rasa generation. If you notice, okay, I have to say kita macam in between tau. Maksudnya kita banyak belajar dari yang lebih tua dari kita. And if you see, their trend is tak ada boundary.
Yes.
Kalau we're talking about
Typical
kerja
company.
kan,
Yeah.
kalau kita cakap pasal kerja, they don't have boundary. Bagi dia orang, you kena siapkan kerja you kena achieve your target,
Lagi
you
lama
kena
you stay kat office, lagi bagus.
correct. But at the same time, kita tengah belajar dari generation yang baru-baru ni, which is the Gen Zs, whereby they teach us yang office hour sampai ni itu saja.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I rasa banyak meme dah keluar yang ni. Kalau kau mati hari ni, kau buat kerja macam orang gila pun, kau mati hari ni, esok kau dah di-replace tau.
Betul.
Setunjuk yang tu betul.
Okay,
Itu pun
just
betul.
to share lah, I think kita orang pun sama, because you know we do deliveries, okay. So we started out macam tu, yang kita macam kita all out, kena satisfy our customers, all out.
After operation
So
hour pun
like
buat tu.
whatever time whoever message us, kita boleh buat, you know. But I guess it came to a point yang kita orang pun sendiri sedar macam, kalau kita asyik satisfy diorang and diorang dah terbiasa, so diorang akan betul lah, memang you dah terbiasa, so benda last minute you akan cari kita orang. Betul, faham.
Manja lah
Tapi
jadi.
you kena ada boundary tu lah, yang
Nak
mana
lemak.
it comes to a point yang tak boleh lah, kita orang pun nak kena rehat juga,
Betul.
kita orang pun ada working hour juga.
Human juga.
We are all human. So to be honest, it actually it took me a while to biasakan diri untuk, you know what, my cut off time is this, I need you to respect me, place your orders before that. Tapi andai kata you memang I punya regular yang memang kau punya, itu pun kadang-kadang I macam
Atas budi bicara
yes lah. Like okay, I will tengoklah, I tengok timing juga.
Betul.
Kalau kata dia memang I tahu dia jenis yang busy, message I malam, order dia nak sebenarnya tengah hari, then I will say okay, but I will get back to you with the total esok pagi.
That is also for me one of a way untuk kita set the boundaries.
Yeah.
Cuma tak betul-betul
Betul.
officialkan dia sahaja.
Some yang macam for me, I will do that to my regular customers lah, yang I akan macam okay, I can do, but I will give you the total esok diorang akan macam okay, no problem Shazlin, it's okay, can. Tapi kalau yang baru-baru ni, I kena educate diorang, kita ada
Cut off time.
cut off time. Yes, I can do, but I will reply you esok pagi lah.
Last order ke apa ke kan, nak start order ke.
Correct.
Kadang tengah malam kau tanya aku kan.
I mean, it's a bit ni lah, I faham lah. Kadang you pun, because sometimes I have to reason back with myself. Kalau I message you weekend, you tak reply tau.
Betul.
I kerja weekend.
Betul.
I kerja weekend, you tak kerja weekend, you won't reply me.
Betul, setuju.
Sampai next week nanti baru you reply.
Itu pun mujur next week kan.
So macam I guess it's something yang kita belajar in between lah. I feel that we are in between. So we do need to learn to set our boundaries.
Okay, so Alin dan suaminya menyentuh boundaries di peringkat tempat kerja atau organisasi. Paling ada
I
nak
think
tambah.
the first few minutes ni we can explore that aspect first. Because in a way kita adalah working adults kan. So we have all those kind of experience when it comes to setting.
What about you guys? I told you memang kalau at work, especially friends, dia pernah explain dia macam tu. And I rasa you pun pernah bercerita juga. At work, you memang set your boundaries kau ya. You know, based on your experience, based on whatever you've went through, you know.
Ya. Sebab bila dengar Azim punya practice macam tu kat organisasi dia, macam seronok lah. I rasa kalau I boleh buat benda tu kat punya company, I buat.
Suggestkan lah.
But I believe where Q is dia lain tau.
Yalah, betul
sebab you know lain mentality company tu lain.
Culture.
Culture.
Yes, it's a
because
culture.
where Azim works is an international company. So
correct.
dia punya culture, dia punya the way they handle things in HR, dia semua is different. Culture. Us on the other hand is more like, you know, a Malaysian sort of corporate.
Sorry to
punya
say, tapi
environment.
ada satu perangai itulah
Yalah,
yang
maaf cakap lah.
susah
Maaf cakap,
nak
kan?
ubah. Ya, maaf cakap.
Kan kalau boleh memang I setuju cara macam tu, so that orang faham oh ini dia punya stand. So kita tak boleh pergi lebih lah. Sama juga dalam tempat kerja kan, macam I punya cubicle, I tak suka orang duduk-duduk kat tempat I. Sebab I punya setting tu semua dah cara I. So I tahu kalau mouse tu bergerak ke, I tahu siapa duduk sini tadi, kenapa suit barang I tapi kalau kita terlampau menunjuk sangat kita ni setting boundaries, sebenarnya orang tak suka.
Kalau I jadi
Kalau
colleague you pun,
company,
kau kenapa aku nak duduk sembang dengan kau pun tak
Kau
boleh.
nak sembang-sembang je, tangan jangan gerak-gerak.
Lah, dah duduk tangan tu gatal kan macam
Ayo.
satu.
Paling apa tangan gatal?
Pelik tangan gatal ke kat tempat company
Tapi tangan gatal or not, macam itu barang you.
Yeah, you have
You
the right.
kena respect barang orang.
Sebab
But
apa?
Isn't that common sense?
It is
correct.
common sense,
Tapi
but
tak
it's
semua
not
benda
a common sense for, sorry to say, maaf cakap, Malaysians.
Sometimes
Sebab I tak
common
buat
sense
benda
is
tu.
not common to a lot of common people.
Itu je.
Sebab macam macam contoh I cakap dengan Azim, I duduk kat tempat orang, I kadang duduk pun takut. Sebab itu seat dia tau. I akan macam, boleh duduk tak? Ataupun takkan pegang barang-barang. Kadang tak nota tu I tak paling atas, menunjukkan tak akan sentuh apa-apa barang dia. So kalau I rasa I boleh buat macam tu, kenapa orang duduk
Tapi
tempat
betul
I, usik-usik
tau.
barang I?
Betul-betul.
I
I
tak
have to
suka
agree.
sebenarnya.
What about you, Falik?
Balik macam mana you punya take? Setting boundaries in working environment. At work.
I don't know.
Tu memang tak akan buat je.
I-
Layan je.
I punya boundaries, maksudnya what
You tak ada boundary.
Wow.
during the working hours, sometimes my boundaries in terms of how I interacted with my colleagues, kadang-kadang I tak ada boundaries.
Okay.
So I can go beyond.
Yep, yep.
Also that depends on who I'm interacting with.
Correct,
lah.
faham?
But after work, then the boundaries are there. So maksudnya, if you are macam colleague is colleague, so maksudnya lepas working hours, I would rarely go out and lepak ke apa ke, especially
Sekalipun dia ajak.
depends lah.
Depends on who
because
also,
also
right?
I've learned to say no.
Okay.
Kan? So macam if I feel like it, I say yes. If not, I would just say no. Yeah.
It's okay lah for you to say no.
Yeah.
You said that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've done several times. Okay, no is no. So because when it comes to interaction, kadang-kadang some of my colleagues, especially in my teams, kan, balik boundaries. I said, what boundaries?
Wow.
We have gone through hell together. So what boundaries? So somehow that makes me feel, because my team is a very small team and we work together outside of the office punya setting sometimes.
Yeah.
So we need to have that good bond so that
Agree.
So to me that's how I create that bond by being like macam abang-abang sometimes I
Daddy,
bull-
daddy.
What?
Daddy juga bapak lah kadang-kadang. I would set them in line.
Bergatal
Kan. So I have to do that so that it sebab if I set that boundaries, I will feel distant. So bila I'm doing my work outside of the office settings, I will be macam susah sikit nak gauge to them.
Okay.
So bila dekat office, I create that relationship. Macam sometimes I'll go like, because I've by now I gauge already how these people are. So sometimes I go a bit jokes yang a bit racy, racist, sexist. So ada cakap terus directly. If at one point you feel uncomfortable, let me know. I would apologize lah.
I think dalam hal ni Falik adalah sedikit blast kot sebab dia kawan-kawan dia orang kata sempoi. Right?
But that team in the group, the big group, tidaklah. I will still have my boundaries with that big group.
I'm talking about your small team ni kan. I pun nampak macam ni you dengan your boss, your superior pun macam bagus kan. So mungkin dia lebih selesa. Macam kalau kena macam I yang nak kata dia tu macam mak-mak pun tidak, macam bosi-bosi pun macam susah. Soalan
I guess the age gap kot, macam my superior, which is yang you guys pun kenal siapa kan. So dia punya age gap dengan dia ke bawah, so kita tak jauh.
But still Falik kalau dia nak jadi boss dia boleh je kan. Regardless of the age, right?
Betul lah tu.
So soalan I, selepas kita berkat dalam
jawapannya A.
Ya betul.
Ya betul.
Soalan I selain daripada situasi si Azim ni, bila kita dah set boundaries, kadang-kadang it's for our mental well-being dan sebagainya. Macam mana pula penerimaan orang yang melihat kita yang tengah set boundaries ni? Macam I dikecam teruk. Bukan dikecam teruk, macam Q apa-apa bukan nak lepak, Q apa-apa berahsia. Q bukan soal berahsia. I just tak nak involve myself dekat dalam benda yang luar daripada working setting. Macam Azim,
working settings je kadang-kadang kawan-kawan pun rahsia. Setting boundaries lah. Itu kita cakap kejap lagi. Setting boundaries dengan kawan-kawan.
Okay.
macam situasi Azim, dia diberi keadaan itu. Maksudnya diberi peluang dan ruang untuk you bercakap. So orang kena terima lah. Right? Kita expect orang untuk terima.
Correct.
Ada tak mereka yang tak terima dan ada cakap-cakap belakang Azim tu?
No, actually.
Barat tak adalah tu.
Because the thing is, the whole idea behind it is that if kita dah define each other's boundaries better, clearer, we can work together better.
So itu sampailah objektifnya.
For a better
To
understanding
objectively.
lah.
So I
of
think
each other.
boundary setting tu, I think in the workplace kena look at the intention behind it juga.
Betul.
So macam if let's say your intention of setting boundary is macam
nak kewat.
Nak kewat.
Tak nak kan.
Or you nak tunjuk yang masa I lagi berharga dari masa you. If that was your intention and objective, and you will get that sort of feedback lah.
Understood. So itu di pihak Azim. I pun dah cakap pihak I. Macam Ali, balik.
Macam Ali?
Adakah korang
Macam mana?
rasa ragu-ragu nak setting boundaries sekarang? Sekejap lagi orang cakap apa pula?
Tak, I do set boundaries to yang lain tu kan. So it's good and bad because good because I have my own peace of mind apa benda semua. Bad of course sometimes bila ada sesi keramaian ramai-ramai, so I akan macam I don't feel I belong in that settings. Kan I akan rasa macam distance sebab of course they're like together pergi lepak sana apa. I don't my choice.
Correct. So when you do join, you feel awkward lah sikit.
Sometimes bukan lepak pun. Sometimes because I set that boundaries, memang I tak rapat only bekerja. So bila dalam live pun I rasa macam awkward.
Okay. Faham.
Yes.
Or kalau they talk about something that happened during one of their outings yang you tak ada, and then you awkward lah dekat situ.
Contoh situation tadi kan, while I was waiting for a lift sebelum balik office, so I have two of my colleagues yang macam memang just tak rapat sangat. Kan, rapat pun macam very surface sort of rapat. So diorang macam were looking at video-video kelakar. But I was within earshot of whatever that they're conversing. So macam if my team yang memang rapat macam tengok video apa tu share kan, ada sebut-sebut. But macam diorang macam yes, we work together, but I don't feel that I'm at that level to actually macam nak sibuk, nak tahu apa. So I just macam diri kat tu macam awkward gila macam
cepatlah turun.
Sampai ada someone else yang macam I okay sikit masuk sekali dalam lift tu, then we have a conversation because ada that that buffer person
faham.
yang rapat dengan
Bridge.
diorang juga and
Yep.
knows the bridge.
So yang ini pun you takkan buat small talk pun dengan diorang.
I tak tahu nak small talk apa.
Faham.
I'm not good at small talk.
Tu. Lah memang tak okey kan dengan small talk. Nak sembang pula dengan benda yang awkward. Faham. Okey.
Kan?
Kalian dia keadaan tu kat office. Office. Tak adalah kot sebab korang macam adik-beradik kan. Kau yang macam simple-simple dah.
Dia
Wujud keadaan tu.
Alin set boundaries ke dengan
pause lama kan.
Complete that.
Dengan yang-
Adalah dekat yang
Tak,
itu.
dia
Yang
masa dengan yang itu lama dah set boundary.
Tapi macam dia tak faham je boundaries tu.
Tu lah pasal kan.
Mungkin kena buat macam Azim kot.
That is
Buat
another
meeting.
problem juga. You dah set boundaries tapi orang
tak faham.
itu adalah boundaries yang you set.
Maaf
Tetap
cakap
juga
lah.
buat benda-benda yang you dah bagi tahu dah that's not what you want.
Then at least when you have defined it, you can call them out.
Correct.
Sebab kita dah cakap.
I dah cakap.
Yes.
What
Itu
you
betul
still
juga.
want.
So I call out lah benda tu. Kena je marah. You
Itu-
time I bekerja kat sini, you tak nak contact, you tak nak tanya I soalan. I dah balik, tengah drive balik rumah, tengah makan dinner apa benda semua, time tu you nak tanya.
Tapi
Memang
sebab-
tidaklah dapat jawapan.
Tapi bagusnya dia adalah di capacity yang boleh menjawab balik tau. Imagine kalau kita kat office, kita nak buat benda yang tu kat manager kita.
I think there's a
susah
better
sikit kat
way
I
of
lah.
saying it kot.
Yes.
Kadang-kadang kita dah buat cukup better dah. Orang tak boleh terima.
Oh yeah, in that sort of capacity yang message dapat message lepas kerja ke apa benda semua, I can tengok the sense of urgency. Kalau betul-betul macam urgent, macam something really important happen, then I would entertain lah. Tapi kalau I rasa macam benda tu boleh tunggu the next morning, I can reply, boss sorry, I get back to you this tomorrow something like that. I can cakap je. Kalau dia kata tak boleh, then kalau dia dah message pukul 12.30 tengah malam, dan I'm kind enough to reply, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Kalau dia nak mengentan juga, dia mengentan lah, aku tidur.
Betul-betul.
Okay, so
Okay,
that
okay.
is
Moving forward.
office.
Yes.
That is workplace. What about next? Friendship?
Friendship, family and friends
Family and friends. Okay,
Family
so
and-
where
yes.
do you draw the line with your friends? Kiraira?
It's always my personal belongings. Both family and friends. So termasuk dalam apa saja dah di bawah pemilikan I akan set boundaries. Apa jenis pemilikan tu? Apa sajalah. Orang di samping I ke, perasaan ke, dan apa-apalah yang berkenaan personal. Kenapa I buat? Bukanlah I kata I set boundaries because tak selesa ke apa ke, tapi nak jawab juga soalan tu, menjawab juga benda macam Falik cakap. Kadang-kadang sebab kita tak rasa belong, kita tak rasa kita diterima, kita tak rasa seperti mana kita.
So bila you open tu, you rasa you belong dah lah. Geli berlaku.
Tak, bukan. Sebab diorang tanya, kena jawab. Tak, betul. Kadang-kadang kita melihat juga, kadang-kadang kita rasa macam, alah, masalah kau ni masalah kau sebenarnya. So orang lain, kalau dia nak tanya, good enough, kita jawab. Tapi kalau dia tak tanya, I pun takkan pergi
Bercerita.
sebab sebenarnya I tak reti. Tak reti nak mengadu domba lah. So kalau menjawab lah, kalau ada soalan yang korang beri saya nak tanya tu, I can still set boundaries. Sebab maaf cakap lah, kita dah lama hidup kan, dah dekat 4 dekat ke 4 abad.
4 abad.
Wow,
Empat dekat
abad.
kan?
400 tahun. Gila.
4 dekat.
Wow.
Matematik kita tak elok pula.
Anak dinosaur.
Tak tahu dekat dengan abad.
Bukanlah dinosaur.
Kadang-kadang sehasta sejengkat pun kadang silap. Hidup sama 4 dekat, kita dah kenal macam manusia.
Betul.
Jadi manusia-manusia ini mengajar kita untuk fikir apa implikasi kalau bercerita, apa implikasi kalau kita tak bercerita, dan disebabkan oleh itu kita kena set boundaries. Sebab dah belajar.
Ya, betul. I think antara semua, Q adalah seorang manusia yang very selektif dalam perkara yang dikongsikan dengan orang.
Correct, I agree.
Sebab antara semua kawan-kawan kita,
Biar Syafiq ni.
mostly jenis yang macam kalau akan bercerita. Tapi yang very selektif dalam berkongsi suatu perkara, ada beberapa, which is Q and then Fasha. And itu je lah kot yang I boleh fikir yang sedikit selektif dalam berkongsi perkara.
Mungkin sebab kami Aries kot.
I menunggu kat nama I bila tak nak keluar apa tidak.
Alin.
Tak, mungkin sebab you dah ada dalam golongan itu yang you selesakan. I bukanlah kata tak selesa, tapi kadang-kadang kita takut kan, kita punya cerita ni picisan je. Orang lain pun ada masalah kan, dan kita semua, wah Ali nak cerita kat you kan. Sebagai tak kena. And also I got my pride lah.
Hello.
Itu
Okay.
dia yang penting. Tapi when we talk about setting boundaries, I don't know if I set boundaries with my friends.
Takkan tidak, Falik.
Mungkin
Takkan boleh simple je, Falik. Kita Azim, which is set boundaries on your personal belonging.
Mungkin I akan
Dia akan you lupa ke?
I lupa ke I pernah bagi
Dia pernah bagi kereta
kawan
tu
saya
dekat
pakai
siapa?
kereta, lepas tu tak
So you
bayar
rasa
berbulan-bulan.
boundaries tu macam mana? Lain-lain?
Itu maksudnya mungkin dia menganggap itu kawan baik dia, BFF kau.
Yeah, correct. So
Pada
his
masa
question
itulah.
is,
Boys for life.
where does he draw the line
Sebab
between
kita tak boleh
friends
expect
ke
kan,
best friend
ujung-ujung
ke
dia palat
apa
kat
ke?
kita.
Sorang-sorang cakap boleh. Akulah setiap episod mesti ada yang cakap bertindih-tindih.
Ini kan
geram
maaf
betul.
cakap. Memang kita kelang kabut. Kalau nak elok-elok, pergilah keluar sekejap. Apa tu? Apa dia? Ada sempat tau.
Ada inside joke ke?
Apa dia Azim? Apa dia
So where
Azim?
do you draw the line with friends?
With,
Yeah, maybe
Friend,
when
family.
you guys share, maybe that will click.
with friends macam I sort of test the water. Okay, if let's say I baru kenal you, okay, first is dia macam profiling.
Observer only lah.
Observe
dulu.
dulu. Because for example, if let's say I baru kenal Falik, okay, Falik was introduced to me by siapa. So you know when they say friends who flock to birds who
Flock the feather.
Flock together.
Birds who flock together, stay together,
fly together.
birds of a feather
flock
flock together.
Bila I watch apa ni? Dia tempat dah zaman apa?
Birds of a flock. What?
Okay, apa yang nak disampaikan
Okay.
Azim?
So okay, depending on siapa introduce. Okay, when they say like that,
Macam MLM, introducer apa semua. Okay, teruskan.
so dia macam okay, maybe perangai dia more or less macam ni. That's why my friend and this person yang baru introduce ni boleh click.
Okay.
So that sets like a macam a baseline profile.
Oh, dia macam
Okay.
dia macam CIA.
So dia tengok also macam pertuturan. Okay.
Kau.
Whether you're because some people especially when you're younger ada jenis yang suka mencarut.
Betul.
Ada some people yang tak suka mencarut.
Betul.
So depending on what sort of language they use, and that's how I sort of build that profile of how much
Boundaries. Yang
those
dia boleh
boundaries that you are slowly forming. But a lot of it is actually based on assumptions lah. Until you actually test certain things, you wouldn't actually know. Tapi macam to me, with friends, the boundaries is that macam it's always macam if I do something to this person, would I like it if that person buat balik kat I ke tak?
Okay.
That is
Okay.
the rule of thumb lah.
So that is a type of boundaries juga is it?
To me, that's
Dia baseline
macam
kot.
dia macam I guess a boundary for myself and for this person also. So if I don't treat you a certain way, I don't expect you to treat me that way jugalah. If you infringe that, then we may cut ties jugalah macam tu.
Tapi kan keperluan manusia berbeza-beza.
Correct.
Okay dekat you mungkin tak okay kat dia.
Correct. So
Macam
I mean
mana
I understand
nak tackle that?
interaction orang memang different. Tapi when we talk about my relationship with this person, dia macam okay ni set kita. Within a group maybe it's a
Set
bit different.
Set kita.
Siap kita jangan pecah.
So macam if
pelantai.
individual to individual, one on one macam ni, okay these are the boundaries. Tapi kalau kita dalam group, maybe lain lah.
So dia generalisekan keadaan tu mengikut kuantiti kepada manusia.
Okay, so the question is what sort of boundaries do you set in friendship? I mean in general, tiga-tiga not just Azim
Okay.
jawab.
Like one personal boundary for me is the pinjam barang.
Okay,
That's a hard no.
alright.
Yeah. Pinjam barang, pinjam duit, no, that's a no.
Okay.
I'm not the person you turn to pinjam something because I know the moment I say okay, dia macam it becomes a habit lah.
Okay,
Or if I'm short 100 ringgit, I can ask.
alright.
I don't want to be that guy.
And also you pun jadi orang tak akan meminjam barang orang
Correct.
dan duit orang.
Yes.
Alright.
And at the same time, I won't do that.
I don't
Okay.
have that boundary. Okay, Alin. I'm just speaking, so I don't set that boundary. Orang nak pinjam duit, datang cakap aku pinjam duit walaupun
Balik
aku tak ada
tolong
duit.
lagi. Alin,
If we talk about duit lah, and kawan nak pinjam and all that, instead of pinjam duit, I instead offer ideas or solutions of how you can make or
Right.
get.
You're that kind of friend lah. Okay.
But not
Dia
get
bukan
money from
bagi-
me, no.
Yeah.
That's
Dia
no.
bukan bagi
Yeah, dia bagi
Dia bagi
pancing.
umpan dan pancing. Okay.
Alright. Alin, what sort of friend? What sort of boundaries? Fikir kan.
I think when it's one-sided,
Okay.
Maksudnya?
maksudnya macam, okay, you know how I'm always the person you come to talk.
Okay.
But you never get the chance untuk.
Correct.
Alright.
Yeah.
So belah dah kena macam tu.
Banyak
apa,
kali
apa
lah
implikasi
kena.
dia kat you?
Tak adalah. It will come to a point yang
Serius
Banyak.
Nampak tak sembang je dengan I.
It will come to a point yang macam, yelah, like I said, I pernah cerita before, I ni kan jenis yang akan give you 200% or whatever, right? I will come to a point, but my point tu jauh lah. I tahu korang punya limits
Dah habis dah.
ada habis dah.
Ada banyak
I
lagi
still ada
sisi.
lagi. But
Allah.
I will come to a point yang when I realise that, you know what, I'm not getting
Fuck off,
anything
Out of this.
out of this. So satu, what I will start doing is I will just listen. I takkan bagi
Cakap
apa-apa.
Wow. Tu dah habis rajuk lah tu.
Dah macam okay lah, kira kita kawan macam tu je, you faham tak? Kawan yang macam tu yang I I won't go more than that.
But you're still friends with that person.
Still.
Cuma have that boundaries
Yes.
lah. Okay.
I've seen her over the years. Banyak friends, banyak groups yang dia pergi above and beyond.
I do. That is what
Berapa
I
kali
do.
Azim menasihatinya supaya mengurangkan? Banyak kali juga kan?
Kali juga.
Tapi knowing her lah,
To be honest, I don't think he will interfere much sebab dia tahu I tak
Degil.
suka. I tak suka.
Yeah.
Degil.
Because macam
keras kepala.
her defense selalunya akan macam which is a good defense. Dia nak buat let's say benda ni untuk orang tu is ikhlas dari dia.
Okay.
Which is most of the time lah.
Which is most of the time. Memang dia ikhlas nak
Yeah.
buat sebab dia anggap that person sebagai kawan baik.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kan Leo, I loyal kot.
So I from my observation as a third person, ni kenapa one sided je?
Sepatutnya perlu ada symbiosis
I've
lah.
not seen this person reciprocate that sort of effort that she's put in. So I tanyalah, kenapa you sangat ni? Why you so invested in this?
But yes, my limits are quite high.
Itulah
But
dianya.
it will come to a point yang I will tell him, you know what sayang, I'm done. And he'll be like, okay,
And when she's done.
She's
I
totally done.
am
Done.
done.
Selalu memang macam tu.
Like I memang cut terus tau.
Okay.
Tahu.
Okay. That begs my question. So when you set boundaries, does that mean that you are no longer friends with that person, or the boundary is there, but the friendship is still there as well?
Depends what happens kot. Yeah,
Oh, dia
depends.
depend on the degree of the
Sebab-
destruction.
I think dulu I rasa I didn't really have like a
Dia buat salah apa-apa ke?
I didn't have like a straight line, like a proper boundary. It was more of a
Buat je. Sebab
Alright.
ikhlas.
yes. And maybe macam tu lah, I would sampai tahap yang macam dia cakap tu lah dah. When I'm done langsung. I cut ties terus. Tapi macam I might still be friends with you. Macam let's say I'm still friends with you on social media, tapi I tak ada nak tegur-tegur. I dah tak ada nak apa. Selagi you tak tegur I takkan tegur you.
Alright.
I takkan give reaction ke love ke apa ke, tak ada. Until you do it to me. So I'm just like I tahu lah what's going on with that, but I still friends macam tu. Sampai it will come to one point nanti I akan remove you.
Right. So you set that boundary first.
That was dulu.
Okay.
Tapi I rasa sekarang I dah set my boundaries yang to be honest, I only take care of
Invested dekat.
just certain people ni. Like
Right,
memang certain
okay,
people
okay.
yang boleh kira tangan.
Right.
Yang
so,
lain semua I dah macam, you come find me, I won't look for you.
I dalam tangan ni kan.
You dalam.
You dalam hati.
Okay.
Kan? Tak hormat. Ayang.
Right. So I guess it's safe to say that macam while Azim punya boundary is loaning things, Q punya boundaries is the stuff, barang punyaan dia, and yours is more of your heart.
Yeah, I think mine is more of my heart. My emotions are.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, kan?
You tak jaga hati I, you tak jaga feelings I, I'm setting that boundaries. At one point, I'm gonna cut you off.
At one point lah. The point is quite jauh lah.
Okay lah, at one point lah, at one fine point. Yeah, because I'm still thinking because I cannot find for the lack of a better word, physical boundaries macam what you guys did, which is pinjam barang and kepunyaan you. While Alin is what I categorize as emotional boundaries, kan? So for me, I don't know, because I don't know. Either I had it and I putus, or I don't know if there's any boundaries.
Okay.
Maybe because you already set your circle small tau.
Maybe.
Ni I ambil contoh yang tadi tu, yang you kata you pernah bagi kawan you pinjam kereta, and then dia buat palat tu. Apa you buat lepas tu?
I potong ke?
I potong terus. That's your
Cut
boundary
off
lah.
boundary lah.
Dia buat you dah cut off tu paling ujung. Tu dah cut off lah.
Dia pernah buat 2-3 kali. I tak ada boundaries kat situ sampai that maximum thing I terus putus.
So itulah jawapannya.
Itu.
Falik ni dia kena henyak sampai dah habis hujung tu. Dia tak ada set-set dah. Mampus kau, aku cut off lah. So mungkin dah terlampau banyak aku bukan dah cut off sampai you rasa tak buat apa-apa dah sekarang. Sebab yang ada sekarang ni semua yang baik-baik
Sebenarnya betul lah apa dia cakap. Ada few more examples kan. You dah macam layan sampai hujung you dah lantak dia.
Falik ni jenis henjut lagi mau je. Kan?
You're like baseball lah.
Okay.
1, 2, strike.
Yes.
You give those strike.
I think so.
Henjut. Ada moment kau dah tak pandai.
Actually, I think I've had this conversation with you before. You did say this. You
said
said
podcast sama.
orang kan. Sebab you did say this yang kalau kata you dah sampai that point, you cut off terus, you dah memang tak kisah kau mati ke apa ke jadi kat kau, aku tak kisah langsung.
So
I guess that's your boundary lah kot.
Dalam friend and family, dia orangnya tak ada boundaries, senang kata. Boleh je nak pinjam
I
duit,
rasa
ambil
ini-
barang ke
Tapi
apa.
the moment
kereta.
you salah guna, dia tak ada, dia habis.
Kau palat je. Belah.
Okay, ini kita touch about friends. What about family?
I think
Tadi bukan kata friend and family.
Yelah dia.
Sebelum kita pergi ke cinta, family and friends.
Family and friends.
Okay, for me, same things apply with family because to a certain extent, with my mampus lah kan, with my sister pun, that's okay. Okay, with my sister case, I had some boundaries because you know dia buat macam-macam. So, but I still, I told myself, okay, limit. Sampai at one point, I cakap kat dia, if you do not fix things, I don't have any sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I tak tahu whether they dah fix things or not. So that's it lah. So in between that, the whatever that she did several times until when I set the boundaries, itu pun mainly because my family kept on saying satu jadi, kenalah tolong, kenalah jaga.
Yeah, it's always that.
Kan. So sampai at one point I told them, this is what happened lah. You kept on manjakan dia. This is what happened. So I will only help until one point. Yes, ada one incident tu I still tolong, tapi lepas tu dia buat lagi. Then is where I set the boundaries. I takkan tanya, I takkan cari, I takkan apa benda semua. After a while, dia still perangai yang sama. Then I bagi tahu dia, you fix things or else I do not have a sister.
Itu kata putus lah
Itu kata
daripada
putus.
you sebagai seorang
It
abang.
hasn't reached that point yet lah.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I personally untuk family, I tak letak apa-apa boundaries. Diorang boleh apa bersembang ke, nak bercurhat ke apa, I pun akan buat benda yang sama. But it always me lah, I guess. Kalau ada bercerita dengan orang, katalah kalau cerita tu jumlahnya 100%, my mom akan dapat 10%, my sister 10%, adik I 10%, just for the sake of untuk I melepaskan rasa lelah tu aja. But no one can get the whole story. Sebab eventually I akan simpan semua kat hati I je. Contoh kalau macam dengan my mom, I nak minta pandangan daripada sudut perlu ataupun tak, I cerita dengan my mom.
That particular aspect.
aspect
tu je
lah.
Kalau dengan my sister, my elder sister, I nak tahu pasal berkeperluan untuk teruskan ke tak, pergi kat dia. kat my younger sister, I rasa dengan ini sempoi sikit, I boleh sembang deep sikit. Dia dapat 20% daripada cerita keseluruhan. Yang those brother 2 orang tak tahu langsung. Hantar kau lah, aku takkan cari. Tapi kalau ada keperluan nak tanya for those brothers, yang perempuan semua takkan tahu. I memang macam tu. Tapi untuk secara keseluruhan, I tak akan set boundaries. Sekalipun tak ada lagi lah adik-beradik I yang buat palat, tapi I akan tolong sehabis mana lah. Walaupun dia 5 orang kan.
I baru teringat. Sorry.
Terus tak ada habis dah.
So selain daripada that, I also my boundaries is jangan kacau my mom.
Okay.
The moment you do something to my mom, that's my boundary. That is where, so for example macam recently some other relative did something yang a bit upsetting to me lah, because my mom needed something. So that's where I set the boundaries. I cakap, I will not go and see you this raya because this is what you did.
Sokong.
Yeah, this is what you did, and I'm not happy, and I will not go just for the sake of raya and act like nothing has happened.
Yeah.
Faham?
Cerita I tadi tu applicable pada
Relative.
yang terdekat je. Kalau berlaku yang aunties, uncle, adik-beradik my mom buat palat kat my father and mother, I akan bersolidariti dengan keluarga I. Sama juga, aku takkan visit rumah engkau. Aku tak kisahlah kau sihat ke, mati ke apa ke, aku takkan jengah engkau dah. Sekalipun mak bapak aku kata jomlah pergi. Sebab yang tadi kau dah buat mak bapak aku. Apa dua cara lah, kau cakap ke, kau sakitkan ke hati mak bapak aku, termasuk orang-orang luar lah. So itulah. Ya pun sama dengan Palik punya fahaman.
Nak jadi cik As ke berair mata?
I had a question about yang you share with your siblings tu 10% sini, 10% sana. Dia macam when you share tu, is it to get advice or is it just to share or luahkan
Like
hati?
something happen in your life.
Sifat I ni, I sentiasa tahu apa I nak. I tak nak jawapan pun. Tapi bila I cerita, I macam cakap lah, I nak luahkan lelah tu.
Just to luahkan lah.
Supaya for example, itu adalah satu jug air, supaya air itu tak melimpah-limpah, you kena keluarkan sedikit so that ada space untuk air lain masuk.
Macam balloon kan, kita tiup terlampau banyak-banyak dia akan meletup, right? I nak avoid dia daripada meletup. So I luahkan angin tu pada yang kat luar ni.
Aku baru macam nak pandai bagi analogi. Dia bagi analogi lain.
Dia bagi lain.
Sebab kita
betul,
tahu
betul,
kapasiti
betul.
hati kita kan, tak boleh terlampau heavy sangat. Sebab I tak nak juga I tak sihat lepas tu. So lebih baik kalau I macam Azim, I rasa you mungkin cakna sikit lah bab macam ni. Kenapa Q? Macam mana Azim kalau I nak pergi jam dekat this company kan? Sebab I tahu you kalau cerita bab kerja you attentive, I akan pergi. Kalau dengan Alin, I tahu you jenis mother kan.
Tapi
Lin,
when you
tanya,
came to me though, you're not expecting an answer lah.
Tak.
You memang dah tahu apa you nak buat.
I nak tahu, dah tahu dah. Tapi kadang-kadang sumbangsaran manusia sama ada membulatkan tekad I yang ada ataupun lebih mengurangkan lah. Tapi at the end of the day, I dah tahu dah apa I nak buat.
Okay.
So how about you guys? Have you guys had any boundaries set with families ke apa ke?
I think macam boundaries within my family, let's say among siblings lah. Because we grew up together. Me and my sister a year apart, and then my youngest brother, me and him 7 years apart. We pretty much grew up together, and I think boundaries we learn lah along the way. Tak adalah session yang okay, this is my boundary, this is your boundary. Tak ada macam tu, but we learn along the way. We know each other's likes and dislikes, and we tahu certain things yang tak boleh cross lah. Even when it comes to sensitive topics first, if let's say career wise, for example, they're trying to do something and I feel it's not a good idea. Okay, tapi it is ultimately memang their choice.
Right.
I will not actually offer any I will not like intervene or anything until they minta opinion. Correct. Because I know macam everyone is living their own life kan. I've never walked a day in your shoe. So siapa nak judge whatever decisions you nak make. So even from my perspective, it may not be the wrong idea, or I already know it's going to end a certain way. Tapi unless dia minta an opinion or dia minta advice, baru I masuk.
Right.
Because the moment I interject macam tu, especially among family, it will create that conflict lah.
Betul.
Because banyak je pakcik-makcik yang bagi unsolicited advice. I think all of us have enough of that in every family juga kan.
Yang terpaling kan.
Terpaling.
Benda-benda terpaling ni ada kat dalam keluarga.
Of course.
Yang bincang business plan bagai tapi tak pernah buat business pun. So
dia lah terpaling
dia
businessman.
dia yang paling tahu kan. So we have enough of that outside our family. So within our family, I guess that's the boundary that we have for each other until we actually minta tolong or minta advice, baru kita masuk.
Sentuh sikit tadi Azim you cakap you takkan meminjam apa-apa dan you tak expect pun orang buat. Adakah ini termaktub kepada ahli keluarga?
No, that's for kawan. Family lain. Family lain. Because kawan, I mean today kawan, besok I don't know.
Betul. Correct. Setuju.
I mean you just look at your circle now. You tengok je your iPhone memories. Cuba tengok 2, 3, 4 tahun lepas. Betul. Your group for friends punya foto kan.
Betul.
Siapa ada lagi, siapa tak ada lagi. You never know.
Kalau tak dia mati, dia tinggal.
Dia punya ayat ni kan sebenarnya.
I nak
Makes
pergi
you
lagi
think
tapi I berhenti kat situ.
Ya, betul.
Betul. Setuju.
Kita dah minit ke 54 ni.
Okay.
Ali.
Talking about friends lah, talking about family, I can share something. It's not my cerita lah. I tak go through this. Again, I'm living with my in-laws. Okay, ni cerita orang I tahu ada yang have difficulty with boundaries dengan dia orang punya in-laws. Ada yang in-laws micromanage down to the point yang you pergi gym mana, kenapa you kena pergi gym, you kerja mana, kenapa you pakai ini, kenapa you pakai itu. And it's, I guess dia try to draw the line, create that boundary so that boleh selamatkan that relationship, but unfortunately tak dapat. So there were some relationships yang ended just there lah.
Among family members.
I mean,
because tak dapat draw that boundary. There was no boundary. Memang macam your issue is my issue macam tu lah. Sampai tahap macam tu. Adalah yang I mendengar cerita-cerita begitu.
When boundaries are not made, whether it's explicitly or implicitly, meaning macam Azim, you grew up with your siblings and you learn your boundaries along the way apa semua kan. So it disrupts relationship because you masuk dalam zone orang dan orang tak suka tu. Tapi kadang-kadang yalah, sama ada diberitahu ataupun tak diberitahu, you dah masuk dalam zone orang tak suka. Kan? So,
tak semua orang suka benda tu.
Dia
betul.
kena menerima whatever. Walaupun your intentions were good.
Correct.
Good. Tapi because you dah masuk dalam zone yang orang tu dah set. That's why bercerai lah, putus kawan lah, putus
sama
saudara
juga
lah.
common sense kita tak common sense dia.
Ya, betul.
Kita akan cakap common sense lah. Kat dia tak nampak
betul.
common sense.
That is correct.
Itu
also
another thing pula. Yang harus dipikir-fikirkan.
I think kalau kita nak bercakap tentang boundaries when it comes to perhubungan cinta, panjang episod kita ni.
Mungkin dia kena buat 2
kita
kali.
tunggu lagi satu bila
Part
Munah
2.
ada.
sebab kita boleh bercerita dengan Mona.
Dia pasti banyak pengalaman-pengalaman
I think
begini.
so. I think lagi banyak.
Kan? So I guess at this point maybe
hentikanlah dulu,
kita boleh habiskan kat sini and we just maybe we can share how we can set boundaries with people ke, maybe tips ke, I don't know what.
To me macam if you nak a healthy way to set boundaries, if let's say benda tu happen the first time, terus cakap. Jangan simpan dalam. Because the more you simpan or you cakap tak apalah, it's fine.
Nanti dia tak buat dah.
Nanti dia tak buat dah. If you don't say anything, they think it's okay and they'll
dia
continue lah. Dia buat lagi.
Correct.
And then it comes to a point yang you dah tak tahan, and then you meletup, and then kawan macam
Kenapa kau nak meletup?
Biasalah.
Kenapa?
Mereka hanya ingat bila kita meletup. Tapi mereka tak pernah tanya
They don't
apa
see the
punca.
sign.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So the moment something doesn't sit right with you, terus cakap. Terus cakap.
I setuju
Very
yang
true.
tu.
So what are the signs that you need to set boundaries? So when you feel drained, when you feel drained, you dah penat layan orang tu, or resentful after interaction, that is one of the signs lah. and you're constantly saying yes when you actually want to say no.
Learning to say no also is an important
Actually,
way.
betul. You have to
Ada art
learn
dia,
to say no.
Yeah.
You're losing sleep, peace or confidence over a person or a situation.
Tak berbaloi.
You're
Tak berbaloi.
overcompensating just to keep the peace. You're the only one doing all the work.
Alin lah tu.
Nanti jadi Alin. Jangan.
When it's one-sided, you know.
Yes,
Nanti
betul.
jadi Falik pula.
When is enough enough? When is enough enough?
Belum meletup
When
lah.
the pattern repeats, even after you've communicated, when your needs are constantly sidelined, when taking it out leads nowhere, and when it starts affecting your mental health.
Maksudnya benda ni bukan cikai-cikai punya cerita tau.
Dia dah
Jangan compromise.
sampai ultimate maximum when it affects your mental health. When you no longer feel joy, when you're feeling drained, tired, sleepy, you dah rasa nak duduk sorang-sorang, you tak nak jumpa orang. Please draw your
Set
boundaries.
Before that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's much easier if, let's say, friends, you know, cut off friends. But when you have these conflicts within family and you don't define your boundaries, that family is not something that you can easily cut off.
Sever,
Correct.
Setuju.
So,
Ada yang
unless-
boleh lah.
ada yang boleh, I guess. Tapi macam, that's the thing. Kalau benda tu doesn't sit right, terus voice out.
Betul.
Let them know.
Jangan
Yeah.
buang masa. Okay.
Okay. Baiklah. Terima kasih kepada anda semua yang telah mendengar sampai ke tahap ini. Terima kasih juga kepada Azim kerana berkongsi.
Deep talk
Sama-sama.
hari ni. Deep
Sama-sama.
talk.
Yes, memang deep, kadang kelakar, but always real,
Real
talk. Kita
talk.
dua episod kita tak bercakap kita punya tagline.
Sebenarnya nak cakap
I dah cakap lah tagline awal-awal.
Awal-awal.
Okay.
Opening
dia
tagline
dah
dah
buat.
okay.
Macam yang
Ya, tak buat.
Maaf
Apa
cakap.
tagline kita?
Tagline kita kadang deep,
Deep,
kadang
kadang
kelakar,
kelakar,
but
but
always
always
real talk.
I thought apa?
Dah tukar.
Dah tukar dah.
Oh, dah
Kita
tukar.
dah Azim, come on. Orang nak berevolusi.
Oh, sorry. Season berapa ni sekarang?
Lost
Kita
count.
nak masuk yang ketiga.
Dah nak masuk 3 dah.
Alright, okay. Anyways, thank you so much for listening sampai tahap ni.
Yep.
Jangan lupa untuk tinggalkan komen if you have had any experience setting boundaries ke, people breach your boundaries ke, apa semua kan. And jangan lupa untuk follow, subscribe dan rate kita punya podcast ini. Dan always feel free to interact with us through our social media, DM kita dekat Maaf Nak Cakap Kejap. Dan juga kita ucapkan terima kasih juga kepada Simply Sandwiches kerana
you.
memberi peluang
Thank you
kami
so
untuk
much.
merakamkan
Tanah
di
Kedaung.
sini. Okay.
Ya, lungsuri kami di maafcakap.com untuk semua info dan juga episod-episod yang korang nak dengar.
Kalau ada komen,
Boleh tinggal dah.
kat situ juga.
Dah cakap
Dah
dah.
cakap dah
Alright.
tadi. Ha.
Lagi
Okay.
ada?
okay.
Alright, sampai
Terima
kita berjumpa
kasih.
dalam
Thank
episod
you
yang akan
kepada
datang.
kita punya guest hari ni.
Dah cakap terima kasih
Dah cakap
juga.
juga.
Sudah
Ya
sama-sama.
Allah, ya Tuhanku.
Dah sama-sama
Aku
dah.
kena
Dah
set
sama-sama dah.
boundary dah ni. Jawab.
Set balik. Habis.
semua orang.
Okay, jumpa lagi.
Bye.
Bye.